Joining me right now is Bill O'Reilly, the host of The O'Reilly Factor and co-author of Killing the Rising Sun. Bill, thanks very much for calling in. Good to talk with you. Your thoughts on this terrorist attack against America? Well,
it's the same old story that you have a guy, allegedly, he's not, convicted of anything, disenchanted with the West and, bent on killing innocent people. So that story has been over and over again. I got Donald Trump on the Factor tonight. This kind of a situation plays into his foreign policy vision because he separates himself from Hillary Clinton in a more aggressive way by monitoring foreign-born people coming to the USA. And I think, but he hasn't really defined it, a more robust offensive action against ISIS.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly, he's been the one to call this out, and that is going to be the issue of the moment. The debate is about a week away now, 1 week away from tonight. National security going to be the lead issue. President Obama apparently has been briefed. What should Donald Trump be doing to secure the presidency ahead of that debate, you think? He says he's not preparing?
Well, he's going to have to prepare. I mean, Trump's not a guy who likes to do a lot of studying. I mean, I would assume that Hillary Clinton will be more versed on the minutia of it. But he'll paint his usual broad strokes, I believe, that, you got to cut down the immigration and the people who come here have to be vetted and the wall has to be built and the laws have to be enforced and this is the best way to protect Americans. I don't expect any change from that and to try to put Hillary Clinton on the defensive by painting her as a person who would just do what President Obama has done.
Yeah.
And that's an effective issue for Trump.
Well, look, the president has yet to say anything about these bombings. Now, the FBI has put out this picture of the suspect, who they say is armed and dangerous, but the president has not said a word about the bombing in New York City or in New Jersey, or the stabbing, by the way, in Minnesota, which ISIS has taken responsibility. They said that was an ISIS soldier. However, he's been campaigning for Hillary Clinton, Bill, and he weighed in on the election. He said a couple things that I want to get your take on. Number one, he said, do it for me. Vote for Hillary Clinton to secure me and my legacy. Otherwise, I will be insulted. He also played the woman card. He said, I will also say there is a reason why we have not had a woman president. We as a society still grapple with what it means to see powerful women. And it still troubles us in a lot of ways, unfairly. And that expresses itself in all sorts of ways. What's your takeaway on this, Bill?
Well, I don't think he has a point on the women issue. I think that's just grandstanding. On the other one, I mean, Trump has said that President Obama is probably the worst president in history. So you would assume that that doesn't go over too well with Barack Obama. So I'm not surprised. And if it were me, I probably would do the same thing. But I think the women's issue is bogus in the sense that Americans clearly have, said, look, we're willing to vote for a qualified woman or a qualified African American or a qualified anybody. So I think that's bold, but the other one, I'm not surprised.
Well, I mean, look, it does show where his priorities are. His priority is his legacy. His priority is not necessarily the future of the country. I mean, is that a fair statement or not? He's talking about his legacy, and he's telling people, vote for Hillary to protect my legacy.
Because he believes that he's done a great job. See, you have to put yourself in his shoes. While most Americans, according to polls, think the country is going, quote, to hell in a handbasket, that's how the question was phrased, and I think the number was 67%. All right? He doesn't see it that way. He thinks that he's done a tremendous job, saved us from a depression, instituted a health policy thing that is humane and fair. So he sees it as totally opposite than most Americans see it. And that's why, when he goes into the real friendly precincts, like the Congressional Black Caucus, he says, look, I mean, this guy's going to dismantle everything I've done, Trump, so don't insult me by not getting out there and voting for Hillary.
Right.
So it makes perfect sense.
Well, as he was making these comments, apparently this individual who was on a cover of the FBI sign right now was planting bombs in New York City. And we have yet to hear from the president. We had Representative Carolyn Maloney on earlier, and we asked her, you know, you're here defending and telling us about your district, what went on in New York City. Shouldn't we be hearing from the president? She said he's doing more important things right now.
Well, look. All I can tell you is this: I'm sure that the president knows what's going on, but he's not a guy who is going to take real proactive action. He's just not going to do it.
Right.
He's never done it. He's not going to do it. I mean, I sent him a letter, not to get attacked, for killing the rising sun. I sent all 5 presidents a letter. Would you have dropped the atom bomb? 3 replied yes, Carter and the 2 Bushes. He didn't reply, and the reason he didn't reply, in my opinion, is he would not have done it. He just doesn't believe in a robust offense. He doesn't.
Right, right. So what's the message of the book? Congratulations, another book. I don't know how you do it. You keep churning out all these books, Bill. Killing the Rising Sun. Tell us about it.
Well, it's #1 everywhere, as you know, and it's the last 6 months in the Pacific War. And it's really, I tell people, don't buy the book if you're upset by violence, because it was unbelievably violent what happened. And then we tell you about why the atom bomb was dropped, how the decisions were made. And it's startling. I didn't know that Dwight Eisenhower, General Eisenhower, was against dropping the bomb. And we tell you why. So there's a lot of really new stuff in there, and it's an amazing story.
All right. Well, congrats on being #1 as usual. Bill, your new book, Killing the Rising Sun, now in bookstores. Thank you, Bill O'Reilly, for weighing in this morning.